Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can use Gamma V4 on your system to run local LLM. So let's begin. So here you can see there is no internet on my laptop and I have written a program which I'll explain you later. So I'm gonna run this. So here it is loading the model first. And here you can see a server has started. Now I'm gonna ask a question. Tell me about Messi, for example. And here you can see it has received the query. Tell me about Messi, and it has instantly given me an answer over here. Okay, so now I'll explain how we can achieve this. So in order to know more about Gamma 4, Google has released this blog, okay, explaining their model capabilities. So it can process audio, video and text, all three. So in this video I'm gonna show you about text only. So here you can see they have compared the model accuracy. So for our tutorial, we'll be using this model Gemma for E2B and I'll be using a 4-bit quantized version of this model. Okay, because I have a 6 GB of VRAM on my system, NVIDIA RTX 3050. And you can see that compared to the 27 billion Gamma 3 model, it it is still very much comparable. So these are the original model. You can go on Hugging Face, go to the Google's profile and search for Gamma 4, and here you will find all the original models, but for this tutorial we'll be using the quantized version of the model Gamma 4 E2B. So here in this E2B there are total 5 plus billion parameters, and out of all those parameters only 2.3 billion parameters will be active during inference. It has a context length of around 128K. It has 35 layers. Okay, so you can go to this link over here, click on this, go to the files and versions, and over here you can get this 4-bit quantized E2B model, okay, with .guf extension. Now to install NVIDIA driver and the CUDA toolkit, you can go to NVIDIA's website and download the driver and the CUDA toolkit from there, or you can also open your NVIDIA app and install the drivers from here. Okay, so in my system I have the driver version 572, which is fine. You can refer NVIDIA's website for finding the compatible CUDA version for your driver. Okay. You can also check out the PyTorch website for finding the particular PyTorch version for your CUDA driver. Once you install your NVIDIA driver, you need to install the CUDA toolkit. So for that, you can go to NVIDIA website and install CUDA toolkit from there, or you can just type this command on the install C NVIDIA CUDA toolkit and the version compatible with your NVIDIA driver. Okay, so once you have that, you can verify your installation by typing NVIDIA. Okay, so this will verify your driver installation. And to verify the CUDA toolkit installation, you can type NVCC. So you can see CUDA toolkit is also present in a system. This is how you can verify it. So you need to have all the libraries installed in your system. Once you install all of that, you have to install llama cpp python at the end. Okay, after you have installed the driver and the toolkit both. So you can use this command cmake args CUDA on pip install llama cpp python, or you can use this. Okay, so if you have already installed llama cpp python by mistake, you can uninstall it first and then reinstall it using these flags. So this uses the flash attention, okay, which makes your GPU inference a bit more faster. But even if you don't have this, it's fine. This is enough. Okay. Once you have installed all of that, you can verify it by opening Python and then typing import torch then type toy.cuda dot is available. If you want to get the name of your device, you can type toy.cuda.get device name. So here it will show you the name of your GPU device. Also, you need to make sure that the toy.version of CUDA is getting detected on your system. It means that the PyTorch version and the NVIDIA driver in your system are compatible with each other. So first you have to import all these libraries. Okay, async IO for asynchronous operation because you're making an API, right? So if you want to make your API asynchronous, you need to have this. You have to import Pydantic for defining the input and output request. Fast API will be the API library that we'll be using, and Llama CPP library for reading our Gamma model. Okay, here we have redefined the tokens. Okay, over here I'll be explaining you what this is. Over here we'll be defining our request and response schema. The input we have the request ID, and there will be a list of dictionary, and in the output we'll be having a response which will be a string and the same request ID. Okay, and success will tell us whether it has been successful or not. So this function ensures that we import or load the model, okay, only once, because we don't want to load the model every time someone sends the request. So this is what this will do. So you have to write this decorator and then write async define lifespan app colon fast API load the model, and this is our main function. LLM equals to llama. This is the model path. This will be the total number of context for our tutorial 4096. So if you remember, the total context capability is 128K, but we'll be using 4K over here. And GPU layers means that all the 35 layers will be loaded in the GPU. Flash attention is true. This is for increasing the speed of GPU even further. And verbose is false for now. Like if you want to see the detail output, you can make it as true. Now this app.shade is basically used so that this LLM variable is available in this other function as well. Okay, hence we use this. Basically everything up until yield runs while the API is on, and once it shuts down, this part will run. Okay, and the API will stop. Here we'll define our variable app equals to fast API lifespan equals to lifespan. Over here we have written a simple program for checking the number of tokens. So basically before sending the request to our model, it will check how many tokens are there. And here we have defined a threshold token of 3600. So it means that the total number of tokens in the previous chat conversation plus the number of tokens that will be generated for the current question, okay, that should be less than the total number of tokens, which is 4000. So here I've kept it 3600. So if you want, you can increase it as well. Let's keep it 3700 for example. So it means that 3700 plus let's say our model will be generating around 250 300 tokens, so that will be equal to around 4000 approximately, which is around our total number of context. So you have to make sure that the total number of tokens is less than 4096. So hence here we'll be counting the total number of tokens, and if it is less than max tokens, then it will return true, as it will try to remove the second item, okay, in the list. So this is how it looks like. Okay, it is a list of dictionary containing role name, what is the role, it is system, then what is the content. Okay, so there are three types of roles majorly: system, user, and the assistant. Okay, System is a system prompt. Whatever instruction you are giving to the LLM, that is the system prompt. User prompt is a question that you ask to the LLM, and the assistant will be the reply of the LLM. So if it is more than this, so we can pop the very first question, whatever is left in the list, and remove it in order to keep the conversation going, else the context limit will exceed and the program will crash. But in commercial applications, this is not what they do. They basically store the information somewhere in the database, or they try to summarize it so that they have the entire context. But for our tutorial, we'll just pop it out. Okay. And if the first question itself has too many tokens, then it will be false. Here we are doing model log, which means that at a time only one request will be processed. But if you have a very good GPU, then you can make it asynchronous. Like let's say you can keep it for, it means that it will process 4 requests at a time. But I have a 6 GB RAM of GPU, so I'm gonna keep it just one request at a time. So if you want to use this, then you can uncomment this and comment this one out. Now comes our main function. We will define a URL. This is our response schema. This will be a request schema over here. Here we'll be using a try except. Basically, if it fails, okay, or if we are trying to close it, then this will be printed. So here in the except block, if anything goes wrong, if someone sends a request and anything goes wrong, then this will share this fixed response. Sorry, I have encountered an internal error, and the success will be false. Here we have this async with model log. Like I said, this controls how much uh, response it will process at a time. Here we'll use LLM equals to app.state.llm, because we cannot use the LLM variable directly from here. Hence we have defined it in this way. Okay. Then here we are running the event loop, which runs the asynchronous tasks. Here we'll check the valid tokens. Basically, it will check how many tokens are there as of now before generating newer response. So if there are valid number of tokens, then we will run this async io.wait for, and it will wait for up until 60 seconds. If LLM does not give any response for 60 seconds, this will throw an error. Okay. Function LLM.create chat completion. The history list will contain our messages, which is a list of dictionaries. This is the maximum number of token response that our model will generate for a particular question. So 256 means approximately 200 words. Okay. Temperature means how much variability you want in a response. If you keep it 0, then it will generate the same response. So we have kept it 0.7, and here it will uh, give out the final output string, and here we'll print it and then return the response, okay, with the request ID, success flag. Or if it fails, okay, if let's say if number of valid tokens are too much, right, let's say 3900 or something, or 3 or 4000 for example already, and we are already generating 256 tokens, so it means that 4000 plus 256 will be 4256 tokens, which will be more than this 4096 tokens, okay, context token. So it will go into the else and then give you a response that your question exceeds the token limit. Okay. So now let's run this again. Now before sending the test request to LLM, we'll first look at how this code works. So these are the few libraries that we'll import. This is the URL of our local chat model. This is the system prompt. Okay, as you can see over here, and here we define our history. So this is the history of messages. So even in the commercial application, the LLM itself is stateless, which means that it doesn't have any memory of its own. Okay, so the LLM will get context only if you send the latest question along with the older history of messages. Okay, so which is why we need to maintain this list. But of course, in commercial applications like ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., they don't maintain a list like this. They store this information in a database. Okay, but here for example, we won't be using a database. We are just maintaining a small list. So this is the initialization with the system role. Okay, and here there is a while loop, which means that we can send the prompt again and again so that this stays infinitely alive. So here we'll first get an input, ask anything. Over here we'll write whatever we want to write. Okay, this gets stored over here, and then this gets appended in the history. Okay, our role is user, and this will be a content. Then we will send this request body. Here we'll be using the post method, request.post. If we get a successful response, then that response gets appended in the history. Okay, so it means that over here we are appending the question. Okay, user's question, and here we are appending the answer. And here you can see the role is assistant, and here the role was user, and here the role was system. Now let's run this code. Let's type the question: who was the first PM of India? So here you can see it has generated the response. Okay, and if you see over here the history, okay, this is the history. So first is the system prompt. You're a polite assistant helping people answer the question. Keep your answer within 200 words only. This is our system prompt, and this is the user prompt. Okay, the question that I asked. Now if I ask another question, when is Independence Day celebrated in India? So now you can see the history, okay, has been updated. So here if you see, it has added one more uh, item in the list. This is the older response: role, assistant, content. This is the answer which the LLM previously had generated. Okay, and this is the new answer which it gave. Now when the user will ask another question, this will get appended over here. Okay, so now if I ask one more question, so here you can see it has added the previous question and answer as well. So content: when is Independence Day celebrated? Assistance: this is the answer. Then again my current question: when was he born? So you can see I did not mention his name over here. Okay, when was the person born? I did not write any name over here because it already has a context. Okay, which is why it was able to answer that Jawaharlal Nehru was born on so and so date. So I hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.